Hey, all, really quick video here on trading morning gappers. Just wanted to show you a real quick video here on some trades that I did today. Let me go ahead and open this up just to let you know that, in fact, I did trade it today. But P&L for the day today on ticker symbol TVIX was 250. I was basically just trading 1,000 shares, so I was able to get 25 shares on that and whatnot. But I just want to let you know with things that I look for. On whether or not I'm actually going to buy the stock out of the gates or not, and some of the things that I've been noticing. Previous day's close on ticker symbol DUST was $6.70. We saw it basically hit this high of the day and didn't really have much more activity the rest of after hours. This gray shaded area is considered after hours trading from 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock at night. Didn't really do a whole lot, and then in the morning around 4:30, we call it basically pre-market. Basically everything resets itself, VWAP resets itself and everything. We saw this pre-market high where I drove this red line here at around 686, and from about 4 o'clock until about 8 o'clock for the next 4 hours, it basically made this move about 40-50 cents down, and then so go ahead and draw another pre-market, basically ruining it here for you guys. I wanted to keep that covered up. That's right at 9:30. Just to kind of let you know that this is the kind of things I look for. But I'm gonna go ahead and draw a right around 6. I'd say like I already got a line there. Yeah, I see it. Okay, so I drew a line here at 6:34. So from 686 to 634, we've got about a 50-cent gap here, and the stock will do one of two things. It's already started to make its downward move. It's below the Ichimoku cloud, and it'll do one of two things. There'll either be enough energy for a continuation, so when the market opens, the first thing I'm looking for is I'm looking for it to either break below this 633 and continue downwards, and that means that it's basically going to do a continuation. Or what I'm looking for is I'm looking for it to bounce off this cloud here, or I want it to get very close to 633, but then I want buyers to start stepping in and realizing that, hey, this is a discount, and start driving it back up. Ultimately, what I want to do in a perfect world is I want it to fill this gap. There is a 40 cent, about a 30, let's see, opened at 40. Yeah, so there's like a 40 cent gap, 50 cent gap here that I want it to fill. You got to keep yourself in the mindset of retail traders see this as basically a 50 cent discount on every share. So people are very interested in the fact that pre-market during outside of normal trading hours, the value of each one of these stocks has gone down by 50 cents. So let's see what happened. Right out the gates, I was very interested in this, being the fact that it bounced right off of the Bollinger Bands. I got long right after the pre-market high. I saw it do this basically upward movement, and I think I attempted to trade it, or was thinking about trading it, but then I got a little bit concerned because there was a lot of rejection on the level 2. You don't see it here, but basically on level 2, you'll see a lot of either short sellers or sellers step in, and they'll reject it because this 644, it was kind of a range in the last hour or so that if it broke through it, that it was going to basically continue up. And once I saw that it hit below this lower Bollinger Band line and the support line of 629 came in, I was very interested in it, but I was concerned that it was going to get rejected again at 648, being the fact that it was so close to the $0.50 mark. I think I stepped in at 651 or something like that, and made a nice little ride up there. Didn't ride it all the way up, but something that's very interesting is that watch what happens. Boom. So the pre-market low, it basically went from pre-market low to pre-market high, and it filled that gap. So in the first 15 minutes of your day on 1,000 shares, you could probably get, $300. Very low risk. I would have put my stop below 628. So if I would have got in, let's see if I got in at 51, I would have put my stop at 745. Because if it's going to reject it, it's going to come down immediately. The other thing that's interesting too is that you notice that this increase in volume. And we were on the upside of the MACD, and we went from a low RSI to a high RSI. So that was an amazing trade. That was within the first 15 minutes. That was the first gap strategy. The other strategy that I can't show until later on the day on this was that sometimes you'll see a gap and go, which basically it'll fill the gap, it'll hit the pre-market high, it'll get rejected. This is kind of like an ABCD. Then it'll consolidate a little bit, it'll test it again, and then we look to see that if it tests it the second time and it can break through it, you'll get another maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 cent pop. But because it retested again, it got rejected, it came all the way back down, and it just traded between the ranges all day long. Broke a little bit there, but basically all day long until this afternoon, around 2:40 in the afternoon. It tested that 686, and because it was above the Ichimoku cloud, because it was a slow, steady, gradual with low volume, all of a sudden it breaks the pre-market high, and look at all this volume. That just goes to tell you right there, look at that. When it breaks the pre-market high, everybody's like, oh my god, it's hitting a high of the day, and you get all these retail traders that are interested in it. That's why the volume is low right here. Nobody cares about it. Nobody's really interested in it. All these candles are really low, and then boom, it breaks pre-market high, and everyone's like, oh my god, I'm interested. So it basically just continued for the rest of the day. So that was a nice move to watch right there. I didn't trade that, but that would have been a nice move to watch from 686 all the way up to 744. That's about a 60 cent move, continuous. So yeah, that was a great today. I know a lot of people made a lot of money on dust today. The second ticker that I traded today was ticker symbol TVIX. The only reason why I traded this one, it's been trading in the $11, $12 range recently. I remember like a month ago this thing was at $5 and $6, and I've been making pretty good gains off this one as well. Today was a good day for me on TVIX, $4.50. Took a couple of different stabs at it, 3 times, I think, 1,000 shares each. Nothing too crazy or anything. I just, looking to make some solid gains. So 450 and 250 is about $700-800 for the day. Just trading basically within the ranges. Let's go ahead and look at the pre-market activity. This thing closed at $10.96, and didn't see a whole lot of movement in that as well. Pre-market, we saw a little bit of craziness here, and then we saw this move. Try not to ruin it here. All the way to look at that, 1189. So let me go ahead and draw a price level here. 1189. This is what I do. 1189, and the pre-market low was 1093. So about $1. And let's find out what happens. Now, because this has stayed up for so long, I'm going to be looking for a continuation. Or if you're a short bias trader, it would be the opposite of what I just showed you on DUST, which, because it's hit the upper range and it's basically opening the market at that range, this would be a great opportunity to go short. If it doesn't break the pre-market high of 1188, it's got a big gap to fill, almost $1. So let's see what happens. And look at that. All the way down. And it fills the gap. Now, I saw that, because I'm a long bias trader, I saw that it bottomed off of this pre-market support. So I basically got in here, I think like 1,000 shares a couple different times, and saw a nice little 30 cent, 40 cent move up to about 1160s. So as you'll notice, same thing as before with the UST, it'll trade between these two ranges. This pre-market support right here and this pre-market high resistance. Now, unless it hits the resistance point and it has enough oomph to break through, it's going to always get rejected to it, and you're going to see low volume here. You're not going to see many people interested in it. So it gets rejected, comes back down, hits support, goes back up, doesn't quite hit pre-market high, gets really close to pre-market high. Now look at what's happening. It's getting really close to pre-market high. It's around 1 o'clock. Everybody's come back from lunch. All of a sudden, everybody's interested in it. And let's see if it gets enough oomph to break. If it gets enough oomph to break, it's an opportunity for a trade. But if not, if it doesn't break it, then don't take it. And look at that. Little break. and then it just immediately gets rejected. So there was some interest there. Obviously retail traders were trying to push it above pre-market high to make some gains. It didn't make it, came back down. Nobody really cared about it anymore. Until it got close to the pre-market low again, then you got interest. This is the interest level right here. This is how many shares are transacted, and this is something that you always got to look at, because you got to find out, are a lot of people interested in a lot of people make these trades? That's where it's going to be very interesting. And once it hits that pre-market low, those are like a pack of dogs on a three-legged cat. I know it's a bad analogy to use, but it'll break through it and it'll make a nice 20-30 cent move. So we did see a nice little move here. Some more retail traders were interested in it, but it just traded sideways all day long. Not a bad day, but wasn't amazing anything by far. So, all right. So the last thing I wanted to do is just let you guys know that's what I look for on my trades. I look for the gaps. I look for it to fill the gap. If you're a short bias trader, you'd have definitely made a nice little move there, or you can basically bounce it off support. Opening market is always going to be the most interesting and volatile. But today's opening range breakout for me was the immediate gap fill within 15 minutes. I was up like already $350. So hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me on stock tweets or Twitter at CompSideWay, and go from there. Happy trading. Stay safe.